What's good? Smitty'Wit just got done with the commentary for this one. Make sure you listen all the way through to really understand it. All right, for this highlight breakdown, I'm going to explain to you guys how to use the straitjacket system. Now, when do you use the straitjacket system? Typically, when you're dealing with someone who's really hard to choke and you're hanging on their back, you tried everything, they're defending really well. You have to then isolate their limbs, and then that allows you to get this choke. It makes it easier to get the choke. It doesn't guarantee that you'll get the choke, but it makes it way more easier. So first off, let me explain this. You guys need to understand that the back is a position. It's not just a submission, it's a position. And the straitjacket system happens when your right arm, when you're laying down, whichever side you guys are laying down, you see how my right arm is under his armpit? That means I'm on the under grip side. There's an over grip side. We're on the under grip side. So the first thing you see me do, look at my left hand. I grabbed his wrist. I'm going for wrist control. You need to have wrist control. I have diagonal wrist control. That's my left hand, and that's his right hand. And my hands are on top of his hand. That's very, very important. So once I have that connected, then you're going to see my right hand immediately grabs his left hand, okay? So that's diagonal wrist control right here, okay? It's very, very important. And you see with my right hand, I pushed his left hand down. This is very important. It needs to be below their chest. In order for you to be able to trap this particular arm, which is their top arm, it needs to be below the chest. So what you're going to see me do is now that his arm is below the chest, it allows me to kick my foot and trap his arm, which slides right there, as you can see, in between kind of his armpit area, wherever, I don't know how to explain that part, but you guys see it. And once you get this part right here, you're going to take your left foot or whichever foot you have, and it's going to disappear behind their back. You want it to basically touch the tailbone area. You should be long enough to bring it down like you see me do here. Now, once you have this, you can let that hand go. This right here is the straitjacket system, okay? It's not a choke. It's like a position, basically. It allows you to have a better chance of choking your opponent. So now that you guys see me have this, I'm going to let his wrist go with my right hand. And now you see I go under the chin with my left hand, and I'm going for the RNC, the rear naked choke. Now, one thing about me when it comes to rear naked chokes, there are many various different ways to get under the person's chin. You're going to see my training partner, he's going to dig his chin and hide his chin under my arms, which should stop you from getting the rear naked choke. He's doing it right now. You cannot see his chin. Me, I don't care. When you crank someone's chin, which I began doing here, as you can see his facial expression, you do something called a mandible strangle. The mandible strangle is when you basically start strangling their jaw. So anything below the nose, to me, is a choke, which is, as you can see, I choked him out. I am known for doing a lot of mandible strangles. People think when they see my legs are crossed or something, they think like, oh, I'm going to break your ankles. No, I'm breaking your jaw. The mandible strangle, you can still choke someone out, but you're also breaking their jaw. And yeah, that's how you do the straitjacket system. Now, this part, we're kind of done, but I'm about to go really, really in the nitty gritty with like better explanations of the back as a position. And we're going to still talk about this straitjacket system. I'm also going to go deeper into the rear naked choke, or at least my theories on certain rear naked chokes. But let's go. All right. So the first thing I want to explain to you guys, I said, was the overhook grip. And then there was this underhook grip, I called it. This position right here is the perfect way to show you guys what I mean. Look at my left hand. It's over his shoulder. We're on the over grip side. Now, when you're on the over grip side, typically you go straight for the choke. It's a better choke, but it's hard to control them. Okay, so when you're on the over grip side, you can go directly for the choke. But when you're on the under grip side, you want to basically tie up their body first, then go for the choke. A lot of people don't understand that. This position also right here, sometimes you'll be going for a rear naked choke and the person decides to stand up like this. They're not on the ground, they're directly on top of your body. I want you guys to pay attention of what you should go for in this scenario. If someone does this to you, you want both of your hands to be basically above their shoulder. And what that allows you to do is you're going to basically force them to pick a side. So you see how I'm going directly back and forth, trying to, you could just try to get under their chin with both of your arms. Don't pick a side, let them pick a side because they're laying on top of you. So it's kind of hard to choke them. But as you see, my training partner decided to pick the right side. So now that he's picked the right side, you see my right arm immediately went under his armpit. We are now in the undergrip side. So how do you know the differences of which side you're actually on? I want you guys to notice that because we're laying on the right side, as you can see, and my armpit's under his body, we're on the undergrip side. So this is where it becomes really confusing, but if you internalize what I'm telling you, your back attacks is going to go up 100%. Okay, for nomenclature, I'm calling it overgrip, undergrip side. Go to your local coach, he calls it different. But if you look at my left arm, it's above, over his shoulder. This is the overgrip side. It doesn't matter which side we're on in terms of laying towards. It matters where my arm is at. Because my arm is not under his armpit, the undergrip side, it's the overgrip side because I'm over his shoulder, okay? You need to understand this. And we're laying, it doesn't matter. We could be laying on the right side, left side, doesn't matter. If we're laying this time on our right side, because my right arm is under his armpit, this right here is the undergrip side. Remember nomenclature, ask your coach what they call it. I just don't feel like going looking for my notes. This is just the best way to help you guys understand it. But understand that both of those sides, overgrip, undergrip side, they have different strategies to get the choke. You need to understand this. And then, this right here as well, sometimes you'll be trying to choke someone and they'll literally put their body on top of you. It's one of the most frustrating things to deal with. So you don't want to have any grips. You want both of your hands to be above their shoulder and you begin punching in for the choke with both of your hands. I typically like to let them pick a side, but you can literally just kick under their legs and force them to pick a side for them, okay? And yeah, those are all of the common sides or just scenarios and positions that people fall under. And for me to get the straitjacket system or position, I did it from the undergrip side. This is where you want to typically get it from. Now, as you can see, maybe some of you guys are having a eureka moment, but I'm going to say it right here just in case if you haven't realized, a lot of you guys, if you are not really good at rear naked chokes, is because you're trying to get the submission and you never realize that it's a position. Like, for example, there's going to be some short attention span people. They're going to go to the gym, be on the overgrip side, not the undergrip side. They're going to try this system and they're going to be thinking Smitty doesn't know what he's talking about. But for those who made it this far, now you understand the differences that you need to be under their armpit with your bottom arm and you need to have diagonal control. I also want you guys to pay very close attention because this part is super key. His top arm, which is his left arm in this case, is below his chest line. If you could punch it down to their belly button, that's even better. And all you have to do, don't worry about trying to fit your leg in the hole where their armpit or elbow joint is. I want you guys to kick your own hand. That's all you have to do. If you're sitting down and you could bring your heel to your hip bone, you can do this move. That's all you gotta do. It doesn't require flexibility. It requires precision, understanding, and prior perception of your own body mechanics. All right. So I don't want to hear like, oh, this is a flexibility issue. No, it's not. It's a knowledge and technique issue. So now we're going to continue on. I want you guys to see how I pommel my foot in. It does not require flexibility. It requires precision and technique. After this point, now that we understand this is the straitjacket system, now we can start going for the choke. And As you guys can see, I'm going to teach you guys how to also do the mandible strangle, because I personally do not have time to be trying to go under the chin and fight. That irritates me. I just crank their face. So if you want to develop a really nasty mandible strangle, start doing pull-ups. That's the secret. If you ever look at my back, I have like abs on my back. If I could find the video of it, I'll show you guys. But now you see how I'm on his chin, and then I take my other hand, and you need to grab your bicep. Some people don't know how to do a rear naked choke. So as you can see, I'm grabbing my bicep, and my right hand is going to go behind the back of his head, and I'm going to use a fist for this one. Now, if you want to do a regular rear naked choke, just FYI, look at my left elbow is pointing the opposite direction of where his chin is pointing. They should be lined up. But I knew that I was going for the mandible strangle. But FYI, if you want to have good rear naked choke mechanics. Now, this is something, I don't know, I feel like this is something I like to do. Look at my chin. I like to create locked chains. So sometimes in order to escape a rear naked choke, all you have to do is take your free hand and reach up and grab that hand, which is my right hand. But I like to use my chin to lock and hide that option. I don't want him reaching up and grabbing my own hand. It's so annoying. For people who know how to actually escape rear naked chokes, I stop that. So, and then from that point on, I use my entire back. That's how I choke people. And woo, that's the end right there. You know, with these jiu-jitsu highlight breakdowns, I don't intend to go super in depth. I just want to quickly show people the way I see jiu-jitsu. But when you guys have a bored Smitty, like I am now, I don't mind trying to show much more detail than I should. Maybe one day when I have an instructional, I will probably go way more in depth. That's what the instructionals are for. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you can come out and maybe you have a better understanding of like, okay, there's different sides of what you should be doing with the overgrip and the undergrip, or if they're on top of you, you know, stuff like that. Keep in mind, there's different strategies for each one. There's like a whole different game plan for each side that you're on. So a lot of people don't really know that. They just get the rear naked choke position and they try to just choke for dear life, but they don't understand what they're doing. So I hope that helped you guys out. And yeah, take care. Be safe.